What's up, Jeff? A quick demo video for you for your staff by Nevin Varner. This is a two-handed job, man. Uh, these guys right here. I do not have the staff coupler all installed yet, right? So this is a little bit different, or it's a lot different than any saber I've ever done because this staff is actually going to take a total of four 28 millimeter Smuggler's Outpost Elite speakers. This is a 0.99 inch handle right here, but you want a 28 inch or a 28 millimeter speaker. So what I have here is I've got speaker pods in each of these pommels. Let me unscrew this and show you. Just like that, right? Now, due to the nature that these were handcrafted by Nevin, the pommels do have to go to the certain saber. You can't interchange these. These speakers are a press fit into the pommel. They're not glued, but the distance that's poking out right there, past the threads, that is for this particular saber setup. So this has to go with this saber. However you want to keep track of that, right? And then obviously it's the same on the other one. I'll put this one down and show you this one right here. I don't want to take them both out at the same time and show you because then I'll lose track myself about which one goes where. There's just the slightest difference. Like this one sticks out just a bit more. It's just due to the threading on these pommels. So there's one like this pommel has a little bit less threading, so this speaker pod sticks out a little bit more. The chassis that you see here is flush on both of these guys. It's flush with the bottom of this coupler right here. So there just had to be a slight adjustment there, right? So make sure you don't mix those up. And I'll have to be doing the same thing on the staff coupler. One side will stick out a little bit more than the other, and then you'll have to put the staff in its configuration a certain way. And the coupler's right here. So what I'll basically do is I'll have two small speaker pods that are press fit on each side. One will stick out a little bit more than the other. I'll send you a short demo for that before I send these off. But there was so much work involved in installing these, and I got these to the point where they are completed single sabers that I thought that they warranted a demo now because I'm waiting on one part to come in, the PCB connector for the speaker pod. I've got one. I need one more to complete this. I've never had to do four speakers for a saber set before, so I was a little bit low on parts. But each one of these work individually as a saber, so I wanted to go over them with you. You sent me your config this morning for these guys. I had to do a little bit of tweaking on it to get it to work, but it's all working now. We'll go over this one first, and I'll set this off to the side. So we'll just go over them one at a time. These sabers are also unique in the fact that I've never personally used four blade styles before on one sound font to get everything to work. There's a lot of blinkies on this guy. If you look at this saber here like this, right? It's a 2-button setup. So your two plungers here, your front plunger is going to be your activation on both. Your back will be your auxiliary. You've got two LEDs right here in these greeblies. Your front one is a red LED. Your back one is a green one. They are set up to mimic the cave scene. Right. You've got stock B3 MPXLs in both of them. Your blade retention is going to be up here on both of them, not down here. This holds your PCB, so do not unscrew this guy. This top one is the only one you want to mess with. That is your blade retention. How to get to everything, you just want to unscrew the handle. Now I did a press fit for the speaker pods, and they're in there really tight. I just made sure that my tolerances were tight when I printed out the speaker pods, and I did the same thing for the chassis. I did not want to drill any additional screws than what were already in here to hold the chassis in place, so I made these an extremely tight press fit, and they're not going anywhere on you, right? So this is your chassis right here. It says Solo Sabers over here for me. Space Junk Sabers over here for Nevin. You've got your pogo pins for your speaker pods right there, and then you've got these on each one. You have this 7-pixel stock Graflex clamp card. I incorporated these cards into your chassis designs on this saber because You had sent these to me previously for some other sabers I did for you, and they didn't quite work out. So we didn't want to let those parts go to waste, and I was able to incorporate them into the chassis. Now, the only thing with this is you need the handle off to be able to see this going, and you're not going to have any sound, obviously, because the speaker's in the handle. But the 4 blade styles that you have, your first blade style is your blade. You need 2 different blade styles for your red and green blinkies, and then a 4th blade style for this clamp card. So we got everything to work exactly as it should. And we'll throw a battery in this guy. Spring side right here. Right? Now, no sound, but you can see your card going. You got your cave scene going on over here. If we turn it on, it stays on green. Obviously, you've got that different animation here, and then you've got your LEDs firing up super bright, and everything's working exactly like it should. And then we swap it back to off, and then that's what you've got. So with the battery in, we'll throw the handle on. These things are loud, right? That's loud. Auxiliary. I mean, damn. that's probably the loudest saber. Or I mean, they're both the same. These are the loudest sabers I've ever installed. I can't hear myself think. Right, we're gonna throw a blade at them. Let me put this blade in real quick, and then I will explain something to you real quick. So, the way that these sabers are made, I did not glue the threads. So, this piece right here, from here, in front of the control box to your emitter, this whole front section of your saber, it will unscrew if you're not careful. I went ahead and I hand cranked it tight, so it should not come loose on you at all, but I chose not to put any glue on those threads. All right, but if you just take your blade, if you have to twist it in, I would twist it clockwise like you're screwing something on, and then again, if you're taking it out, if you can't pull it straight out, twist it clockwise to pull it out. But anyway, we've got this blade in. I'm left-handed, and this control box is on the right-hand side. So you got your cave scene going. I mean, it's just gnarly. Battle mode. Pull away from it. Turn it off. We'll hit auxiliary to go to the next one. Everything on here is super solid. Auxiliary. Battle mode. Soundtracks, we'll hold down power for a second and let go. And this just blasts out of there. And hold down power and let go. One thing I did with this speaker pod, we'll take this out, we'll take the blade out, and then as we're taking the battery out, we'll talk about the speaker pod. I can only do so many things at once before I get confused. So, yeah. And then we'll just take the handle off to take the blade out. So one thing I did on this speaker pod that you will never see in here is this pommel was so long. And from the positive side, you can just take the battery out with your finger just like that. The pommel piece is so long that I was able to encapsulate the entire speaker. You know, I probably had a good inch and a half, maybe a little bit more, maybe close to 2 inches. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I do remember like I came about that far past the 28 millimeter speaker. So I mean that entire thing is enclosed on all the sides and on the back, and that sound just shoots out, and then it has you know, that sound resonance, you know, all this sound resonance, and it comes out of here, and then you have really good sound venting there. So it just makes these things super loud. So this is the one that we just tested, and we're gonna go over this other one. We'll put this one off to the side. Yeah, man, these things are just screaming. This is an identical setup minus the speaker pod that we just went over in the beginning of the video. So we'll throw a battery in this guy too. And then before I put the handle on, you get the same exact things going on here. And then when we turn it on, everything's firing up like it should there too. And then we'll go back to having it off. And then maybe we'll change sound fonts real quick on this guy so that you can see what your card is doing, because you do have different things going on for this stock card depending on what sound font it's on. Unfortunately, I just can't show you the card and have sound at the same time. But it is a nice little added feature onto the chassis. It was a nice little challenge to put in there. All right, so now we'll put the handle in this one too. So you know, since we hit auxiliary to change sound fonts one time, you know, while the handle was off, we're on to the ancient integration one. So we'll go and hit it one more time so that we go past what we tested on the other saber.
I know the true power of the dark side.
This one just is screaming loud. And we'll throw a blade in this guy too. They both take 1-inch diameter blades, though the blade socket on this guy seems to accept my blade a little bit easier than the other one did, but it's still nice and tight. We'll go our soundtrack. Turn it off. We'll go to the next one.
Ignition.
And we'll just do the full tapping the ignition on this one. Super solid. Everything's working great. One more. Just like that. These sabers are ear deafeningly loud. So they sound really good. They're not setting off any false clashes. I noticed that I usually set my config to 2000 on the volume. I noticed you had 2200, so when I had to change that, I kept it at 2200, and this is what you have. Um, not setting off any false clashes, like I said, not having any problems with it. Shouldn't have any problems with the coupler either, but of course I will test that before I send it out, right? Let's go ahead and take the battery out of this one too. And you can see what you got going on over here for this guy. We could go through a few of these so that you could see what this is doing on different sound fonts. Just like that. We turn it on. Yeah, everything's working great, right? So we'll come over here from the positive side and we'll pop this guy out too. And then I'll put the handle on for safekeeping. So like I said, unfortunately, I can't get these out in the mail just yet. I expect to have that part either Monday or Tuesday. It's already been shipped to me, coming from Saber Bay, and they're not that far away. So, once I have that, I actually have the two speaker pieces already modeled. I'll print them this weekend, and it's a total of like 25 minutes or so to get all that installed and testing. So, yeah, if you got any questions, let me know. But other than that, man, that is your staff setup basically as individual sabers, and I will get these out to you as soon as I can. All right, thanks.